بشرح صدري ويسر أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي وبزدني علما. Sister in Islam and everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rafia Chauhan. Okay, you have to see in this page. Today our topic is lesson 69 and the Qalqalah. I'm the Quran and Tajweed educator, Hafiz Quran. I am the owner of Al Quran Reflection Institute or the Quranic Tajweed Mastery series, and I committed to help all students recite the Holy Qur'an. So today we're going to talking about the qalqala, the bouncing sound, and the characteristics that have no opposite. Okay, so in this our previous lesson we begin to study about the characteristics like sifatul laha, like al safir. So previous we study about a safir, the whistling sound, and today we will study the second characteristics like qalqala. Al qalqala is one of the most essential qualities in tajweed because it's allow us to pronounce certain second letters clearly and this technically without changing their original sound, introducing and united wall. Okay, if you are learning something about the qalqala and you already know about and you practice ways to pronounce like qalqala, so you might have to listening it carefully because you have to know about more. Recognize the five qalqala letters, you have to know about that, but understand why qalqala occurs specifically when the letter carries sukoon. Because the qalqala accurately without adding the vowels and adding the wall sound and this this thing like between a normal sukoon, a qalqala letter, and a wall letter, avoid common pronunciation mistakes. Number one is like linguistic meaning, like qalqala luqa. When you need to know, if you need to know about qalqala, the word of qalqala literally means like bumbling sound, shaking sound, irregular movement, and disturbance or vibration. The Arab used to this terms because the specific letter of the specific letters produce a natural disturbance and bouncing affect the pronounce with sukoon. Applied technical meaning like istalahan, technically in tajweed qalqala meaning reading with qalqala letters that has sukoon by separating the articulation points like makhraj. Apart without accompanying with it any walls like fatha, dhamma, and kasra. The sound is created purely by the releasing the articulation points. Naturally, the letter is remain sakin letters and it's must never turn into like ba, b, boo. The five Qalqala letters, the five letter is Qalqala are combined with the famous memory fairies like Kutubujadd, and that like Aq, Ab, Aj, Ad. Okay. The golden rule about the pronunciation. So the pronunciation is, if you have to see proper in this page. A proper qalqala is produced by the separating articulation points without. Number one is opening the mouth, creating a fatha. Number two, rounding, circling the lips and creating dhamma. Number three, lowering the jaw and creating kasra. These are three poster, and if you have to see in clearly, the movement happen strictly at the articulation points, the lips, lower jaw, and the mouth remain calm and relaxed and stable. The second picture, if you have to say five comparison and qalqala walls naturally. Number one, normal sukoon. Number three, qalqala letter walls like haraka and exact mechanism and like collagen the article. the articulation points and separation of articulation points like jaw movement, non-still and present active, and the second is non-fixed. Non-fixed and present act movement and result sound. Sound will stop without bouncing, nattering, and pronounced with fatha, dhamma, and kasra, understanding the mechanism with the sukoon. The third picture, like vowel letters, we have to pronounce ba, b, boo. So there is jaw is movement like yes, and the mouth movement you have to see like okay, yes, the mouth movement is very clearly. The pronunciation, if you have to say like with fatha, dhamma in the voice state, the articulation points must be clear and separated. But when we're talking about with sukoon, the articulation is totally changed. You have to see in this picture. So the jaw movement is non. Jaw की कोई movement नहीं हो रही है. And the articulation point you have to say b, b, not bouncing. Okay. When we're talking about without any bouncing, you have to say that. But when we were talking about the letter of Qalqalah, the letter of Qalqalah, you have to see that exact like separate of articulation points, but you have to see that the jaw movement is not. Jaw movement नहीं हो रही है इसमें भी, लेकिन but lips movement is not. And the natural bounce only because when you and fatha, dhamma, and kasra is also not. We use with sukoon and pronouncing like ab. I'm talking about the letter of ba, and I'm also talking about the finalized letters of many. I think this is the perfect lesson. The common mistake, when we're talking about the common mistake, my friends, so circling the lips, not allowed. Also with dhamma, lowering your jaw, adding with kasra sound, not allowed, and reading the sakin like bol, ba, bi, bu is not allowed. When the teacher tips, I get to the, if you have to practice, like remember this fundamental rule, the bounce come entirely from the release of the articulation points of not like removing the mouth and lips and or jaw, like keep your mouth completely still and relax. ये एक्सरसाइजिंग पेज है, इसके अलावा एक और एक्सरसाइजिंग पेज है, इसके ऊपर बात करेंगे. इस कंप्लीट का इस लेसन के अंदर 3 और पार्ट हैं इस लेसन के, और इसके अलावा इस लेसन को साथ साथ पढ़ने के साथ साथ इसकी एक्सरसाइजिंग भी बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. सो फर्स्ट आई टोल्ड यू, read each example slowly while keeping your jaw, lips, and completely mention and listen carefully. Ensure the vowel sound attached. अच्छा, जब आप इसकी लर्निंग करेंगे और किसी भी टीचर के साथ आप इसे प्रैक्टिस करेंगे, तो इफ़ यू हैव टू सी इन दिस पेज, आई ऑल्सो give the 5 words with hamza, and these words have a sukoon. So you have to focus and practice day by day. Okay, now we're talking about a little information about in this lesson. Qalqalah is a second characteristic that has no opposite. Number 2, linguistically, like lugha, it's mean bumbling sound, irregular movement, and technically, if you have to understand, it is the bouncing sound produced when the one of the 5 Qalqalah letters carry a sukoon. Okay, qaf, ta, ba, jim, dal, and qutubu jadd. When you execution about the produce the by separating the articulation points without movement, the jaw, lips, and the jaw and lips. Okay, or adding any walls. Okay, तो अगर आप लोग के पास एक बेहतरीन टीचर है, तो सबसे पहले आपने उनसे इस लफ्ज़ को प्रोड्यूस करना सीखना चाहिए. प्रोड्यूस करने के भी एक प्रैक्टिस करने के भी एक प्रॉपर लेसन होता है. ठीक है, अगर तो आपकी टीचर को आता है, सो ही और शी नोस about how to pronounce the letter once केयरफुली अबाउट लिसनिंग टू दैम, कैसे वो पढ़ा रहे हैं. नंबर 2, दे गिव यू अ लॉट ऑफ प्रैक्टिस एक्सरसाइजिंग मटेरियल, अ लॉट ऑफ गिविंग द वर्ड्स. फर्स्ट दे गिव यू little information, then they give you pronouncing ways. You wants them to know, to tell you about the pronouncing information. Okay, if they give you a pronouncing information, फिर वो प्रोनाउंस करने का तरीका बताते हैं. ये सिर्फ सब्जेक्टिकल मटेरियल है. प्रैक्टिकल मटेरियल में आपको प्रोनाउंस करने का तरीका बताते हैं. हर इंसान का जो हलक होता है उसकी प्रोनाउंसिंग वे भी अलग होती है. और फिर टीचर जो है वो अलग से ना सिर्फ टाइम निकालता है, बल्कि वो स्टूडेंट्स के ऊपर एक ऐसा इम्पैक्ट होता है उसका कि स्टूडेंट्स को देख के समझ जाता है कि हाँ, अब इसकी ऊपर इस तरीके से काम होगा और इसके ऊपर इस तरीके से काम होगा. सो ये एक उनका टाइम होता है, उनका वक्त होता है, और ये उनका एक टैलेंट होता है. तो प्लीज़ उनकी कदर करें. अच्छा जी, ये एक क्वेश्चन नोट है. इसके अलावा एक और क्वेश्चन नोट है, वो मैंने शेयर नहीं किया, आप जाके मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल पे देख सकते हैं. और इसके अलावा एक और पेज है जो सब्जेक्टिकल मटेरियल में आता है, वो भी आप जाके मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल पे देख सकते हैं. और इधर जो मैंने जो समझाया है, अगर आप लोग उसे कैरी करेंगे, लिसन करेंगे, तो आपका अच्छे से ये लफ्ज़ प्रोनाउंस होना हो जाएंगे. हम इसे कंटिन्यू करेंगे. इसके 3 और पार्ट्स आएंगे इस लेसन के, और इसके अलावा इसकी सॉल्विंग मिस्टेक प्रॉब्लम जो है ना, वो भी पार्ट आएगा इंशाल्लाह. जज़ाकुमुल्लाह खैर. अस्सलामु अलैकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू.